I don't trust that you can know me if it's only 6 questions you ask me.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
One form in this broadcast, someone from the 80s came and they told me he developed a device. I'm telling you, in the 80s, yeah,
Right.
that tracks the time for people of work. Yeah, and then he had this idea. Okay, I'm gonna set this like a mobile phone. I'm gonna say to all the workers, everybody will buy, everybody will track the time at work. That was his idea, and after he developed the prototypes and everything, nobody wanna buy it. Nobody actually cares because it was not the employees who want to buy these to see if they are more efficient. What people that were very interested was the managers and the owners of the company, and they don't even want the device. They want as a service. That why you don't come, bring your things, measure the whole thing. So look how far away is from what he thought that the market wanted about his product, that what actually he managed to monetize and people buy from it. So again, I agree with you. It's not only moving to the house, that you move to the house and you need still to keep your ears open.
I think this is
and
number
the
2, right?
customer
Like
will lead you where, but you have to be very careful in listening, because it's easy to deviate as well, Alexander, right?
Exactly. I think number 3 is something very similar to what you're talking about, right? Like figure out what the packaging is. And
100% pricing, package it, and what they really need to pay
be
money.
Services, right? The packages could be like, I mean, for us, at first we talked about, these macro models, and it turns out even the AI financial advisor, right? Like a lot of people, that feels like the thing that it is. Like if I actually have to describe it, I think that I would describe it as a personal AI financial advisor, and it's really giving you advice. But I think when people think about a financial advisor, what they oftentimes think about, what most financial advisors do is take your money and they manage it for you, right? They're actually a portfolio manager. They say, I'm going to do it my way, right? I'm the quote unquote expert, and there's lots to talk about on that front as well, about what the experts do. But for us, like telling people we were, an AI financial advisor, people immediately think, whoa, Alex, I'm not ready for AI to manage my money, right? That feels like a huge step up, and the Overton window is changing. But like, I don't think we're quite ready yet for AI.
Yeah, we like ChatGPT to tell us to write, but to deal with our money, everybody's like, wow.
So the idea that like we are an incredible free portfolio tracker seems to work really well. In many of our ads that we run, on a lot of our homepages, a lot of the CTAs and like content we put out, just use our comprehensive portfolio tracker. It's a free portfolio tracker, and you don't need a credit card at all. You don't need to pay anything. And I'm thinking, as the founder, it's kind of annoying that we need to do that. It feels like a side thing that we needed to build to give people really good financial advice. We need to first import it. And it turns out that thing is actually really valuable on its own.
Absolutely.
And so we package it up like that. It's very often we tell people like we're an incredible portfolio analysis tool. And so you can come to automatically calculate returns and performance and get an assessment. The idea that you could use AI to do an assessment of your portfolio, I don't know, going to a doctor, getting a second opinion feels obvious, but have you gotten a second opinion on your financial advisor? Selling it like this, it actually turns out that that's a much more effective packaging than trying to talk to people about tax optimization opportunities or giving really good investing advice.
And it's done.
No one trusts you right off the bat. They like the idea that there's sort of this free assessment and analysis. That turns out to be a much more effective packaging strategy for us than telling them right out of the gates, this is the most important thing.
But they might not be aware about the exposure that they have. because
You're
again,
right.
is a manager advisor, and maybe even if you see that, wow, my money is growing a lot, yeah, but what exposure do you have in that money? Can you lose it all overnight? What your money is? It is in crypto because it can
Exactly.
it
I
can
mean, the idea of
disappear
downside
overnight. Yeah,
protection and crisis
yeah.
analysis and, just Harry, isn't it a good idea for you to stress test your portfolio? Takes 5 minutes, do it for free. Just in
Absolutely,
case.
absolutely, and at the end of the day, the yes, we had to see what AI is actually, because it's actually helping us, because sometimes again the people are not really aware that the level of exposure, the risk that they have in the portfolio, or how well balanced it is, or how diversified it is, and certainly I agree with you. A tool with this will help. So we're going step number 3. So what are the other 2?
All right, step number 4. I think a big step, I think a big part of step number 4 is setting up some sort of constant feedback mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And like we set up a feedback mechanism 2 years ago, and I thought, this is amazing, right? We have a customer
Feedback
support.
mechanism, is it automatically, or
I'll tell you, when I think about, like, we have a feedback mechanism, and I would say at this point we've iterated our way from a feedback support channel, in the corner intercom, to a feedback machine.
Exactly.
And
tell us about your experience.
Like, there's just a standard support channel. People type, hey, I can't find this, or I want a refund, or whatever it is, right? There's an automated system. We use Zendesk at this point, right? We graduated to something else. And like, there's a ton of feedback that makes its way into product management and engineering, and we fix lots of problems this way. And, we test different messaging and add lots of different FAQs and tutorials and walkthrough videos based on what we get there. Every single time someone downgrades to a free tier or cancels, we ask people feedback there. We've iterated on our feedback flow to, encourage people to give as much feedback as possible. Take it very seriously. We follow up with people. If they give us something interesting, 50% of the feedback that we get allows us to just fix something small, reach back out to the person, and win them over to stay using the product. I think a lot of people downgrade. They think it's going to go into, like, it's an annoying downgrade flow. I give a comment, it's going to go into some database somewhere. No one ever reads it. And people are surprised when you message them 3 days later and say, Harry, you had problems with X. We fixed that. We're going to give you a month complimentary service to try it out again. We're sorry about that. Mm-hmm. There's something incredible like that. Like, these are points when people actually become, it's really problematic. We have automated ways like Hotjar and Mixpanel to be able to track when people click on the same thing over and over again, when people refresh the page. These are friction points that are really annoying for people in the product, and they get stuck or something freezes. Very useful to be able to deal with those problems. If someone links an account, for example, or imports it, we ask people throughout the process, here's a preview. Did we import it correctly? If not, it ends up in a feedback flow, and we follow up with people afterwards. If someone downgrades from the product, I automatically send them an email and say, hey, I'm the co-founder of Portfolio Pilot. I saw you, it didn't work out for you with the free trial. Would you like to get on a feedback call with me? All I care about is improving the product. This is like, I live, breathe, sleep this product. And
the people will give you the feedback for
customer
free.
Calls every single day.
The people will give you the feedback for free. And this is amazing because this is priceless when you are in
an hour with the product.
Exactly. What happened there? Because a feedback from a client can make a huge difference in how and the fact that you guys have automatized this is amazing. So what would be the step number 5 then?
Step number 5 is all about optimization. I think that we're talking about getting to $1 million of ARR, right?
Yes.
And so at this point, we have, I think, like, early product market fit. I think that we have some ways to be able to pull people in. We get referrals. There's a bunch of people that really love the product. We fixed a bunch of all the obvious issues. maybe step 4A or step 4B is like, don't listen to all the feedback, right? You still got to decide, of all the feedback, what do you filter out? What do you focus on? But I think
And
once
what is
you
financially viable?
some could be like, we could build
People
some
give you
side
feedback
project
like,
for 3
wow,
months.
I wish that I can fulfill your feedback, but we don't have funds for it. Especially in
Exactly.
tech, that everything is expensive, yeah?
I'm shocked at how much optimization of all of our flows we've been able to do. And we are
I congratulate you.
like, I'm shocked every single month. Every single month, I think, wow, we found out that, if we change
Since
the
you
text of our
start,
landing page,
since you
it
start
increases the
until now,
conversion rate by 20%. This must be the last, 20%, optimization we can squeeze out of the product. There's nothing else. And then the next month, 16%, increase in conversion. We had people in the onboarding process. We have 12 steps for our onboarding process. It's super long. It's crazy. I mean, it takes a minute and a half, so it's not actually very long, but it feels long, right? Everybody I talk to says 12 steps, cut it down to 6, cut it down to 3. So we ran an A/B test and we cut it down to 10. This is when we had 8 steps on our onboarding and we cut it down to 6, right? Even 8 feels very long. We cut it down to 6 and we had a drop off in people finishing the onboarding process. We eliminated steps and we had 5% less people finish the onboarding process.
because
and then we said, let's add some
that
more
was no
steps to it.
serious. They thought that was no serious, maybe, because
We
when
made
it comes to
10,
finance,
we made it 12. We had a 23% increase in conversions by increasing it from 8 to 12.
Wow.
And
yes.
it feels there's
When something is important for you, when something is important for you, look, when we're gonna take a flight, yeah, look how many things we feel. We don't want to miss the plane, right? We give them where we live, we give them the time that we go to bed, whatever these people ask, we're gonna provide this information, because no way that we're missing the flight, right? So the same thing.
Anecdotally, like, we talk to people, try to figure out why is this happening, and right, you can't. There's sort of an indirect effect. Obviously, we saw the increase. I think part of it is like this foot in the door, right? If I'm already X steps in, I might as well finish it off. But the most powerful thing is, if we're really talking about giving personalized financial advice to you, I don't trust that you can know me if it's only 6 questions you ask me. If I go into a human financial advisor office, I expect them to ask me 20 minutes of questions first before they're giving me any real financial advice.
Wow, that's amazing. Really,
fascinating.
Really
there's optimization opportunities everywhere in win-back emails, in asking for advice, in like adding extra text. Like, we add to our payments modal, we added a little, in lowercase letters, cancel anytime. When we made it bold and all capitals, cancel anytime, 26% increase in people from the payment modal actually entering their credit cards.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Human psychology through all of it.
Yeah.
Optimization, there's so much you can improve. I guarantee it, no matter who's listening.
So